Because you know that video you made about white women raising black children.
Hmm.
So I watched it the other day on the plane, and I was like, and I actually
Are you,
agree with most of your points. Oh,
what,
am I
what
echoing?
a little bit, but go ahead. What did you disagree with?
I think I disagreed with the connotation almost that it was like you were almost insinuating that it's better for black children to kind of be separated from their black parents, and because they're going to have more positive outcomes, by being raised in a household that, of course, we're taking into consideration two-parent families, all that stuff that the
Hmm.
white community has to their advantage that we historically don't.
Actually, the study found it didn't make it. It doesn't make a difference. And what I'm trying to point out is something that they've been pointing out for 100 years. It's not. It's not that she's better off. She has more money, or
Yeah.
she's in a two-parent household. Because basically, um, even a two-parent household, to find out the scores are almost the same as far as the scores are. Now they won't go to prison. The morals are a little bit better, but the thing is, if you look at the school scores, they're almost the same. Why is that?
Hmm. Do you think do you think that has more to do with the setup of the families in
Yeah,
in the white community?
it's no, it's the outlook of outlook of the female is different.
Hmm.
Basically, well, you from Sweet Poke. I'm gonna use you, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
My family's from Sweet Poke. My mother's from Sweet Poke. Girls are preferred. They
My
just are.
mom does say it like that too. It's
I,
a,
uh, that's how you know I'm not bullshitting, right?
yeah.
'Cause my mom's 80 years old. She was sharecropper, all right,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
right alongside Red River. In fact, my family still has a farm down there somewhere, um, Coshada County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, the thing is that um, the females are dominant in the black community. They just are, and they push their girls to replicate themselves. And basically it was actually set up during Reconstruction, where you didn't want to educate black men, so they educated the women. Even in the Mohawk Conference, they said black men didn't need to go past the really past the fifth grade. They really didn't
Hmm.
need to learn how to read, but women need to get as much education as possible, because what they couldn't do the manual labor. and
Right.
and a lot of a lot of the mothers in the South, well, even the North and the South, were actually domestics, and they would see how the Miss Ann lived, and what each mother didn't want was her daughter actually clean up behind Miss Ann. So what she say? Get your education,
Hmm. Hmm.
because
Yeah.
that man can't elevate you to the position to be Miss Ann, but you can do it on your own. So they would push their girls. Now they let the little boys drop out of school to take care of the family, but they would always educate the girls.
How many generations do you think it'll take to fix that? Because I'm following you exactly on this point. But I think my concern with the video is we know that this is systemic, right? It's like
Hmm.
because of all the generational pieces.
Hmm.
Like, how many generations will it take to correct that? Because I almost feel like you were saying, well, if black women just change their behavior immediately, that
Hmm.
they would be producing children that are able to compete with children that are, raised in white households. I don't think that that's entirely true.
It would take one generation if you would do the right things. The thing is, first of all, what I say all the time, I always get pushback because really black women really don't want to let go of their boys. They really don't. They really don't.
Yeah, my mom, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Yes.
Because as far as because in a mindset, boys are always good for what, protection and labor. Okay. Whereas girls are, for whatever reason, they think they push the girls out. Always push the girls out to be independent, but they always want the boys to be dependent on them.
Don't
which
you think that has something to do with the lack of fathers, though? I almost feel like it's because a lot of these women don't have, and I'm just speaking from what I've seen,
uh-huh,
like I feel like because a lot of them don't have men in the home, they're kind of using their sons as kind of pseudo,
they do.
you
Why?
know.
But why are there no men in the homes?
Well, there's a variety of reasons for that. That's a
No, I mean,
systemic
come
issue.
on, what's this? Let's keep it funky. What's the main reason? Because women want to be the dominant. Because I faced this all. It took me years to figure this out. Because every girlfriend I ever been with, there was okay, I only dated black women, was always a power struggle. Even my
That,
daughter says the same thing. She doesn't want a man. She really doesn't want a man that's in control of her.
that's systemic BGS, so
It's systemic. I'm saying,
yeah.
but it's been systemic for a very long time. It's systemic. The thing is, um, how do you arrange a society where you can kind of alleviate some of that? The first thing to do is separate boys from girls as far as schooling is concerned. They'll alleviate a lot of that
Hmm.
because they'll be in a male centered environment. Like down south, it works because um, even down south, you have this big extended family. So even if you have a single parent household, he's got cousins, he's got uncles, he's got play cousins. He got all these men that actually take him aside. Hey, give me him. I'm taking him to actually go pour some cement or cut some grass or throw some hay down south. It's a lot easier to raise a man down south because of the extended family. Or you have a say they say if Kara, God forbid, has a son out of wedlock, right? She's raising a son. Her brother would say, "Hey, give me him. I'm taking him. Hey man, get your shit. You coming to my house." And he'll
Hmm.
raise him as a boy. Whereas in the city, you don't have that. And the biggest problems you have with manhood is in the urban centers.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Louisiana was rural, you didn't have no problems raising men. Like my grandmother, most her husbands died, but she had three boys. She could raise all three boys fine. They became men because you had all these male role models around them. You move to the city, it's different. As Shreveport became more urban, you see more and more problems that you didn't see, like I would say 30 years ago. The men have changed because the environment has changed. It's become more urban. Now you have a lot of Pookie and Ray Rays, whereas before you didn't.
Yeah, you're right about that. The whole dynamic of most urban cities has changed, to be honest, just not just in the South, but I think like, all over the country, you just have a very different dynamic because of the,
Yeah.
societal pressures and lack of economic opportunity.
Well,
Shreveport's a huge example of that, but
yeah, Shreveport became from a rural town to an urban center. That's what happened. And urban centers don't lend well to extended families. They kind of break them up. That's the issue. And the big issue the black family had was when it moved from a rural area to an urban center. That's when the problems really became um, exasperated. But black women have always been that way, and it is what it is. Well, I was actually pointing out that the real reason white women raise better boys is because they focus on the boys. They expect boys to actually be more assertive. They expect them to be more dominant. They expect them to lead the family.
better is such a strong word for that. I don't know
Well,
if I would agree with better.
better. Well,
Probably
what kind of
higher.
boy? What kind of boys are we raising now?
Well, I think it depends. I think some people do it very well and
I mean,
some
I
people
mean,
don't. Yeah.
overall, what does it look like?
Dependent, a very group of dependent males who largely aren't, fully, equipped to provide or to be the dominant providers in the relationship. So,
D-
yeah,
d-
I mean,
does that you see that? Do you see that in the Asian community?
I don't, you know what? I would dare to say that in the Asian community, the most men that I've interacted with in that community are they're providers for their family, but they're not necessarily the leads of their household. A lot of Asian women are the ones who kind of make the decisions. A lot of my friends who are from China, for example, like the women in those families tend to be the more dominant figures, so to speak, right? Even though the men are, the ones who are providing for the family, the women tend to run the household, make most of the decisions from
They,
what I've
they
seen.
run the household, but the thing is, out who makes the decision outside the household?
Well, what do you mean? Like the financial decisions
Oh yeah,
for the
the
most
Asian
part?
men. The Asian men. They set the standard. They're supposed to. They're expected to. And if not, if you see a weak Asian man, he's castigated. Wait a minute, no, it's not going to work. In
But
fact,
see, but
yeah,
BGS, aren't you talking about the problem with black women is within the household, right? Like we're not talking
no,
about.
no. The thing is, within the household is if within the household of Asian family, the boys are expected to do what? They expect to work very hard, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
they
yes.
take extremely good care of their family, and the women
Hmm.
not so much, right?
Hmm. But the women still make most of the decisions in those families, is what I'm referring to.
It's inside the house, but outside the house, no.
But when you think about familial decisions, what do you think happens outside of the house that's truly a familial related decision? I guess that's my question.
If okay, in an Asian family, okay, if in an Asian family, once they're married, all right,
Hmm.
she basically the wife knows her role, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
supposed to take care of the kids. But
Hmm.
if the husband said this kid is going to go to a different school, guess what's going to happen? She might fuss, but she's going to do it. If she said if he says we're going to move in a certain area, she might fuss, but she's going to do it. If he says we're gonna start a business and you're gonna work behind the counter, she might fuss, but guess what she's gonna do?
Yeah, she's gonna do it. Yeah, definitely.
She's gonna do it. Yes. Oh yeah, trust and believe. I know. I talk to Asian men all the time,
Hmm.
and basically, he gives her marching orders as far as how her kids are gonna be raised, and she's supposed to do it.
Yeah, she carries it out. Yeah, I guess you're right. So
Yeah.
he's the one kind of, well, but I do think, and I think that black people, if you think about the last 10 years or so, or you probably the last 20, I think we are starting to see a little bit of shift in that. In some pockets in the black community, people are starting to get more comfortable with more traditional, if you will, like marriage
Uh,
arrangements. You don't think
uh,
so?
uh, if when you say pockets, okay, give me a. You see, you always use pockets. There's always been pockets. Okay, there was
Yeah.
pockets back in slavery. There was pockets in
Yeah.
Jim Crow. There's always pockets. I'm talking about in general. I can't use pockets for the whole community, can
What
I?
I mean is in our more traditional, what they would call middle class, right? Because we know now that there really isn't a middle class technically anymore. But when you think about in the black community, your traditional kind of middle class families where they may be surviving off of one income that's, enough to support the family, probably not living lavishly, but they're comfortable.
Mhm.
You're seeing more of those dynamics in relationships where you may have the woman who
I,
works part time but supports things of that nature, is what I
I,
mean.
I have. We actually have two that are upper middle class, right? We're just on. George is a physician. Is he upper middle class?
Yeah, that would be considered. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. How come his problem? How come he's talking about the same problems that a regular guy was talking about? Black guy would be talking about.
Well, I didn't hear. Is he married?
Yeah, two kids.
Hmm.
His wife is a physician too.
Well, no, but see, that's the group I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the group where both are, working professionals and equally providing for the household. I'm
Hmm.
talking about where I see the pockets is like kind of in that actual middle class, the 50, $70,000 range where people are, they're living comfortably, take care of their kids, etc.
Hmm.
And so the woman
Yeah.
may have to
The,
take a more backseat
the working
role.
class guy, just like me, trust and believe, baby. They complain too.
Well, women in
And,
general
and
complain. I hate when you guys say it's only black women who complain. Like, come
no, no,
on
no,
now.
no, 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 no. No, I'm not saying black women complain. I'm talking about the men complaining.
Mm.
The men complaining. In fact, the vast majority of Obsidian's group are middle to upper middle class guys complaining about this. It's a mindset. In fact, my neighbor, because his granddaughter got a master's in business, right? And he said something I've been hearing all my life. He said, you got to make sure that these girls get as much education as they can because they had to provide for themselves. That mindset has been since I've been hearing that since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
Same
that's
mind.
sad though.
It's sad. The thing is that it is what it is. I want women to actually admit it so we can actually fix this stuff, because as long as they deny it, it won't get fixed. I mean, the stats are there. You can't have black boys at the bottom of every category. I mean, every category. Come on. In other words, it's either the fathers or it's the mothers. Who's raising the children?
But who's not raising them, BTS? That's
It does,
equally important.
no, it's not. It's not equally important.
It is important. The absenteeism of your father does matter to
It
the
does. It does
outcome
matter.
of a young man.
It does matter. I have children. Who's in the household matters like 90%. The other 10% who's not in the house.
I don't know. I don't have kids, so I can't intelligently,
I
say
got
whether or not.
grandchildren. I have them going through this crap. Okay, I got
Yeah.
grandchildren. The difference between my oldest and my two youngest is who's in the household. He's in the household with me, you know, half the time, and he's on a different track than the other two,
Mm,
because uh, I'm exerting a different kind of masculine energy.
mm-hmm.
And the women were, when he was like 3, they would say, "You're being too harsh. Get out of my face and go someplace else and let me deal with this." And he
Yeah.
would spot and he would cry and all this kind of stuff. And now, and he said something to me that I didn't never thought he would say to me, like a month ago. "Grandpa, I love you." So get out
Oh,
of here. You're kidding.
yeah.
He meant it, because
Yeah.
now he realized all the stuff I was actually making him do is actually worth something,
And
because the women
that's
were trying to baby him.
I think that's why it's important, is like you were talking about. Like, I mean, I do think that black women have a tendency to coddle their sons. My mother, is it's an interesting dynamic. I'll say that,
Hmm.
with my very adult brothers,
Hmm.
who live in the house that I bought her, and they still
Hmm.
live there, and
Hmm.
they're 40 in their 40s,
And
right?
she
So,
and what
yeah.
okay, growing up, what did she tell you?
Oh yeah, you got to get it. You got to go out there, you got to get your education. I was working when I was 14. Like, she was serious about me kind of, providing for myself, but not so much my brother. So,
Mhm.
I definitely think black women have a tendency to coddle their sons. I just always am leery of us saying that.
Because I'm gonna be blunt. Can I be blunt for a minute? You're not gonna like this. Can I be blunt for a
Yes,
minute? The
sure.
underlying factor is black women think black men aren't worth shit. You can't depend on them.
Disagree. But
Why?
I don't think that black women holistically believe that. I think what's happened is you see a lot of examples where women have probably invested lots in men, and those
Hmm.
investments have not paid off. And
Hmm.
so,
So
and
the
I
con-
do think a
the, con-
lot of that is because of who the men that they choose, but
the,
still,
conclu-
right?
the conclusion is that black men aren't worth what?
I don't think that's a blanket conclusion. I'll let the other women on the panel, but
Uh,
I
uh,
don't agree that that's a blanket
I know you don't
conclusion.
agree, but the thing is, so in other words, if black women didn't believe that, which white women don't believe that about their men.
Well, that's a very different dynamic though,
I know.
BBS.
I know
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, it is a different dynamic, isn't it? Right? They don't believe it about their men, right? So if they don't believe about their men, they don't believe it about their boys. They don't tell their little girls
Mm,
actually, you need to go get go get your own bag, right?
yeah.
They tell the girls the exact opposite. Why?
Yeah.
Because
You're right.
they believe that their men are worthy and capable of taking care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why did your mother tell you to go get your own
Yeah,
instead of
because
finding a
yeah,
man?
she definitely said that, you're gonna have to take care of yourself, yeah. I mean, my mother had some strong opinions about black men, definitely.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, and the thing is, back then the women were honest about it, but now things are so public and in the open, and we have social media. Black women said, "You know what? I kind of believe this, I kind of feel this, but I can't say it out loud because it sounds bad, and it's a bad reflection on me because who's raising the men, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
What
That's
I'm
a good
saying,
way to put it.
I had to face this. I had to face this. The way black women look at me, the way my significant others look at me, right? They look
Hmm.
at you like, yeah, you know what? Um, he might be capable, but I can't really trust him. So
But
You
can we say, but instead of, I don't think that black women think black men aren't shit. I think black women expect, I
black
hate,
men not to be.
no, I think that they expect the worst sometimes. Like, and
Yeah,
I can admit that. I can admit that if
right.
a man is if a man does something not living up to your expectation, a lot of black women aren't surprised. Does that make sense? Like a lot of they're kind of like, okay, yeah,
I
I
knew
can
it.
admit that.
I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew. I said.
Yeah.
I said underneath. I'm not talking about
Mhm.
consciously. Underneath. I expect
Yeah.
him to fail me,
Right.
and I had to protect myself because he's going to fail me.
Right. You're
It's
right
good.
about that.
It's good.
That's real.
It's good right now.
Mm-hmm.
But my mama been telling me, my grandma been telling me that you can't trust them because they're going to fail you in the end.
That's real. And I'm just sitting here thinking about that. And you're right. I mean, I think that's what it is. I don't think that, we consciously think that black men aren't shit, but I think that there is that subconscious piece of
Yeah.
if he fails me, I'm going to be prepared for the failure and I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
use very strong terms for a reason. I'm blunt. In other words, I'm gonna shock you out of it because you're not gonna admit it unless I shock you out of it. Because it's been the underlying. That's what I mean by the underlying. I could actually say black women have underlying contempt for their men. And
Is contempt the right word or low expectations?
contempt is the right word. Yeah,
I don't think
contempt.
contempt is the right word.
Why not?
Because like contempt like is like disregard, right? It's like
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
basically
yeah.
consider that person valueless. And I don't think that. I think there is a limited expectation
Valueless in what aspect?
and the
Ability
ability to
to
provide for you,
provide for
protect
you.
you,
Yeah,
be
yeah,
faithful to you. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but I don't think I don't think contempt is the right word.
That's why
So
it's low key. Yeah, it's low key contempt.
yeah.
You see it all the time. I see it all the time.
I just think that words matter, VGS. Like
I
that's why I
do.
was harping on the golden because words do matter
Yeah, they
and
do.
they can change the
They do.
dynamic.
They
Because
do.
contempt is like disgust. You know what I mean? Like we're not disgusted by black men. I think sometimes we just feel like we have low expectations
How
sometimes.
come black women are actually famous for RBF in the community? Rest in bitch face. Until you prove yourself that you're worthy to talk to me.
Well, I don't think that actually happens. I think men exaggerate that like
No,
heck.
we
Like men
come on,
exaggerate
come
that and act
on,
like we just walk around
come
scowling at
come
people.
on, come on. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not scowling, but basically, every there's a different experience when a white woman approaches than a black one does.
Oh, so you know what, BGS? No, you're not about to pull that with
Yeah,
this whole when you
it
say
is.
hi to a white woman, she says hello, but when you
She
say
does.
hi to a black woman, she's like, "What you want, nigga?" Like you're
Yeah,
not about to pull that because that is not
basically,
real.
it's real. It's real.
No, no,
It
no.
is real.
Where are the other ladies on the panel? I know that is
Yeah,
not
it's
real.
in fact, in fact, the best time some women have, black women have at a club is how many men they actually rejected. It will tell stories. Oh, you know what that nigga said to me? And
Oh
he
my
thought he was going
god.
to approach me, and guess what I did? He sent me a drink. I sent that motherfucker back.
But see, you know why I know that's not true? Because look at the high rate of promiscuity and all this other stuff. Somebody's getting it in, clearly, right?
Uh,
So they're not like rejecting every man that approaches them. So that's why I don't believe that that's true.
it's not every man. It's not every man. The ones that you like, no, of course. The ones that you like, you're gonna smile and grin and all that kind of. That's how we know the high sign, right? If a black woman actually smiles at you, like, oh my God, she's smiling at me. Okay, let me go talk to her.
Yes, no,
Yeah, I'm
no.
serious.
Let me cut in here for a
Okay.
second. Care, how is customer service for you? How is it when you go to the grocery store and different places and you have a black woman to greet you and do all the things they need to do? Do you have that good experience, or
Not
you find
typically.
sometimes you don't?
Yeah. No, I typically I it's a 50-50, right? Sometimes you will definitely have some bad experience with black women. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
I was asking that because just think about out in the whatever street world, however you want to say it, and a guy like, hey, how you doing today? What's the chances of that guy actually getting that, what do you call it, resting bitch face? You don't think it's high? You don't think it's a high number that he's going to get that? She's not approachable.
I think I don't think if you say hi to a woman that you're gonna typically get a negative response. I think now will you approach some women who just naturally are, not the most friendly or warm people, then I'm sure those women you're probably not going to be like, hey, how are you doing to, right? I think you're probably going to continue to move on. But I think women who, black men say hello to, I think that we respond in kind. I don't think that we're walking around here just like ignoring people or anything of that. I don't see that.
Oh,
You
really?
know, I'm gonna put this out there. There was when I first started with YouTube and modding and everything for people and listening to the content.
Hmm.
Sometimes some of the guys would say they were going to wear a wire, or not a wire, a camera,
Hmm.
and record how women are when they approach them. And I always encourage the content creator, please do that. I want to see that. And no one has done it yet. So I'm going to start me a GoFundMe to get whatever equipment. As soon as I find out, I'm going to ask you guys to support me. And I'm going to go out there in the street and I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Since you don't believe it, I'm going to have to show you.
Yeah. Normally,
I want to
normally,
see that.
normally for black guys, you can tell when a woman's kind of sexually attracted to you because she will remove the RBF. She actually perk up and smile at you.
Isn't that regional too, though? I guess because I'm from the South and I now live on the Pacific Northwest mostly, like, and there are not a whole lot of black people over here anyway.
Mhm.
But
Oh
in
yeah,
the South, like, people are naturally
yeah,
friendlier, like we tend
yeah,
to engage
yeah.
more. So
Uh-huh.
I wonder if that's regional too, and it's
It
not
is regional.
necessarily racial. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily black women. It may just be in New York or New Jersey. People just
Mhm.
naturally aren't as friendly.
The black ones aren't. Yeah. Mhm. Because I haven't, because he is the his even if they say if the Hispanic woman doesn't like you, thinks you're repulsive, she'll be friendly. She'll actually smile and say hello. She'll respond back. Try it don't even try it with a black woman.
Oh, I don't believe the sisters are acting like that. Like, I don't know. I just find it hard to believe. I'm going to definitely support you, Char, when you do that because I want to see, like, if the
See,
sisters are really acting like
see, they
that.
don't believe us. See, you don't believe us.
I thank you so much. I will get the information out there.
Yeah,
I kid you not.
they don't believe us. But basically, Solo's actually shown it. He's actually filmed it.
Oh, there's someone who's filmed it?
Yeah, I do believe Solar TV's actually filmed it.
Okay. I'm going to check that out. Definitely.
I got two daughters, and they'll now there's a difference between the ones they like and the ones that they don't. And trust and believe they will give you the RBF because I've seen it. Oh, I've seen it in my own life. You know.
Hey guys. Hey BTS.
Hey, Rice, what's going on?
All
Hey
right.
Char.
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Greetings.
What do you think? What do you think about gold digger? Is that too strong a term?
No, I don't think. I think that's not a strong term at all. It's a lot of gold diggers out here. You
Let
know,
me ask you the second question: is there an inner gold digger in all women?
I think so.
I would do respect my nigga.
I think so. I just think it's like certain levels, like
Yeah, there's levels. There's levels. Yeah.
yeah. I agree with what you said
But
earlier.
Kev doesn't like me to use harsh terms. I have to be more politically correct.
No,
Right,
I
Kev?
just say words matter. That's
They
all.
do. I use them for a reason. They do that. I use them for even Neon. She gets it. I use them for a reason. Trust and believe. Guys don't like terms that I use. Like
Yeah.
like the video about black guys having low standards or having no standards. A lot of guys actually come on the comment section that you can't say all black men. Are we all naywalls or something? Not all black men are like that. Like the women say. Now you want that. Okay. Before women weren't the same way. Now you want to say, no, it's not all of us. I say, nigga, come on, man. You know your homie.
Yeah.
Your homie done smashed that 3 on a regular. Everybody got a homie that smashes threes, okay? Is it? Come on.
That's
Yes.
true.
you, you know, all them threes running around with babies. Where you think they came from?
Yeah, right.
Mhm. Some even some twos running around with babies.
That's the ones running around here with babies.
Yeah, those ones running with babies. Yeah, somebody got to them.
Yeah.
You don't see no white women are twos running around with babies.
Shoot, yeah, you do mixed ones. But let
Hmm?
me.
Oh, see,
I'm
see,
sorry. I had
see,
to. I
see,
had to.
see, Kara, see what I'm saying? I said, hey, Kara, Miss Kara, I rest my case. What you say,
I
Shady?
had to be petty for a second, but
No,
yeah.
it's all right. I agree with you.
No, I was gonna say the lady from that created Me Too, I forgot her name. She got a baby, and her baby actually looks cute. I'm surprised.
Well, yeah,
Have you seen her daughter?
she has standards, but her man didn't.
Her daughter is actually a very cute girl, but her, I'm like, oh my God, what
Yeah,
happened to her?
of course, she's not gonna pick no ugly dude to have a baby by her. Are you kidding? She's not. Women are no fools. They look and say, wait a minute. If I'm a 3, I want my baby to at least be a 5. I need a 7. Yeah, I think you guys think you guys think I didn't study this, didn't look at this, and said, I mean, women from the inside out. Yeah, I know, because I ask questions. I find out things. I read things. I find out things. I ask questions. Okay, how did you pick your baby's father? And she actually described different pieces of the guy that she picked out. She wanted her baby to have, and what parts of the baby, what parts of him that the baby got that she wanted. And I've literally hundreds of times, like, okay, how'd you pick your baby's father? Well, he had these cute eyes, and I liked his hair, and he was tall, or he had, whatever. And I wanted my baby boy to have his strong arms or his legs or whatever. So she picked him as a matter of parts, and then the rest of it actually came. Okay, and what else? Well, he's able to provide. He was a good dude. Blah blah blah. But she always describes him as a series of parts. So it's not like I just come on YouTube and I'm guessing. No, I actually researched this well before I actually came on YouTube. I found it interesting. Like the Octane series is accurate because I actually talked to women about how did they group up. Because I noticed it said, okay, how you pick your girlfriends? Blah 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 blah. They give me, and all the girlfriends would be similar, but uh, uh, they wouldn't actually not cohabit, but actually kick it with say the 85. 92s don't kick it with 85s. And you get some chicks that are like 87s, like working class, that are dealing with ratchets, but the ratchets won't accept them. Nah, girl, you talk funny, or nah, your ideology is not the same. So I noticed they're segmented. So this is actually very, very well studied. It's not something that just came up with overnight. Like I've been saying that black women have low key contempt for men since I was like in my 20s. This is where does this come from? Where does this come? Because I hear my mother say it, I hear my grandmother say it, I hear my aunt say it, hear your girlfriend say it, and it didn't matter what what class they were from, because you hear chicks that are gold diggers that come from money, married dudes with money, say exact same, hear the same kind of, in a different way, but the same kind of low key contempt for their men. It's just like, where does this come from? Because
Right.
when I talk to other races of women, I don't hear that.
Right.
I never heard it. But the thing is, they always, it's like they cover it with kindness. I don't say they don't hate their men. They actually, I think black women actually love their men. I think they really do. But the thing is, they can't get past that little seed that's been planted in them through generations of women. I said, how we can't get rid of it. The thing is, how do we kind of make better choices, even though we know it's there? I had to tell men it's going to be there. Okay, it's going to be there. You can't trip. That's just the way the women are built. If you want a
Mhm.
black woman, you're gonna have to deal with this. You're gonna have to overcome this, okay? Because it's gonna be there. That's like uh, um I heard a pimp say this. I heard a pimp say this. He said he said the difference between he said it's easy to pimp a white girl rather than a black girl. And they said how? He said because the white woman believes that you can pimp her, and a black woman you have to prove that you can pimp her because she doesn't believe you can do it. If you have a dream, a white woman automatically accepts it. A black woman doesn't. You have to prove that the dream is real. And then sometimes if the dream turns out, oh, wait a minute, he's too good to be true. Let me kind of tamp him down a little bit because if he gets that too high, he's gonna leave me. Because I got that a lot too. He can actually do this. Wait a minute, I'm not ready for him to do this. I didn't believe he could do it. I have to kind of pull the reins on him a little bit because he might find another woman that actually believes in him. Well, wait a minute, hold on, let me put some brakes on him. This is my experience. I had to understand my own experience. And I found out other guys are having the same experience. Said, what is it that's causing this? Where does it come from? I started reading and said, okay, it's been there. Now, what do we do about it? That's how I actually put up the video. Black boys are failing all over the place. They're going to prison, they're going to jail, they're low test scores. And black women aren't at the PTA or the school board actually complaining about their boys. Why not? You have the worst outcome of boys in a society, but you're not at PTA meetings. You're not at the school board. You're not having teachers conferences all over the place. Why not? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious. Kara, why not?
I think it's because of what we talked about earlier, right? That accountability piece too for Black mothers as it relates to their sons. So, and that, under the involvement piece, I think there's a lot to it. I think a lot of these Black women are also working to provide for those kids too. So, I think it's just bigger than, them not being willing to. I think there are a lot of issues outside of that.
I was actually talking to what's his name? S, SPI Latino, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in San Diego, all right. And you have Hispanic women that can't speak English showing up at PTA meetings. Can't speak English because they want their kids to do better, want their sons to actually be more successful.
You don't think that Black women care about, like, seriously, you don't think that Black women care about their sons being successful
You
because of
want
this
me,
underlying contempt you talk
you
about?
want me to be honest?
Yeah.
No,
Hmm. That's
because
sad.
I see it in my own family, and it is sad. And I don't understand. I'm trying to understand it. That's why I'm
Hmm.
trying to start the conversation. These
Yeah.
are the facts. Why is it happening?
You know what would be great? Because I don't know if any of the other women on the panel have children. It would be great if we had some women who do have kids and who have raised sons to talk about that, because I would love to hear their perspective. Because I don't have kids yet. I plan to, but I'm always curious about, how do they, feel about the fact that Black boys aren't super successful, if you will, in the education environment and all that. Like, I would love their perspective, because I don't know if it's like they don't care. I wonder if they have the tools and the resources to do anything.
You know, what's your name? Who was that? That chick, the lawyer chick, the Obsidian was actually going back and forth with.
This
This thing, yeah.
thing.
Miss
And
Thang.
basically, she's a DC lawyer, right?
Hmm.
Why did she say the exact same thing I'm saying?
I haven't heard that. I'm gonna have to look. So she was saying that Black women don't care about their kids,
What is
or
it? They're coddling their sons. They're not making their sons successful.
Oh yeah.
Where they're actually pushing the girls. Every Black girl that I've ever talked to that had a brother said the exact same thing that I'm saying. The thing is, why is that? Not, like I said, not all, but far too many.
Yeah, it's probably easier to get women with brothers and ask them than it would be
Yeah.
to get women with children on this panel. So
Yeah.
just to let you know.
What I'm saying is, I mean, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. And there are some successful sons, but not enough. And
Yeah.
when black people coming from the continent don't have that issue.
I agree with you because I have 3 brothers who are older than me. I'm the youngest,
Hmm.
and they were coddled so hard, like, and now they're in their 30s and 40s, and it's hard for them to be out on their own and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And just just me, my parents always brag about me. They're like, you're the most successful one, you're out on your own and they're still here. And I'm like, that's because that's because y'all babied them and he was hard on me.
Hmm. They were hard on you because they wanted you to be what? Successful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's up?
Hey.
Greetings.
And
Hi,
I'm not.
Kendra.
Hey, Kendra. I'm,
Hey,
I'm, I'm trying. I'm trying to understand. Because I wasn't gonna. I actually been sitting on that piece for like 3 years, right? And I wasn't gonna put it out because I said this is pretty harsh. I said I'm not gonna put this up. But a young lady on I think it was it wasn't Nihilist, it was Renaissance woman. Was talking about black boys having or black men having mother issues, and she kept harping on it. I said, okay, let me pull this out. Let me pull this out and actually put this front and center. Because this was actually a white woman saying it. And there's more than one study. There's actually like 4 or 5 studies that actually say the same thing. But this one dealt with just grades, and they actually adapt um, actually what adapted for economics. And in fact, they found out that when when say a single mother that has children moves to a better neighborhood, they said the boys actually do worse. Black boys
Mm.
actually do the same or worse in a better neighborhood, where the girls actually do better. There was just a study that just said that maybe a
Yeah,
few months ago. Go ahead, Kendra.
um, I know that sometimes it's difficult to swallow that a mother would not care as much about her son's success as she does her daughter's success, and therefore doesn't push for it. But the answer lies in what was being discussed a little bit earlier. Black women's low expectations
Mm-hmm.
of what Black men are, who they are, and who they will become plays a significant role in what she pushes for him and what she doesn't. If she believes that he isn't gonna be shit anyway, she's not gonna push for him to be shit. You see what I'm saying? She feels like he ain't gonna make it no way.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be in a gang, or he gonna be in jail, or he gonna be, one of these ain't shit niggas anyway. Even though he's my son and I may love him,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to push for him. No mother thinks this consciously. This is not a conscious thought. This is a subconscious thought that actually plays out in her actions, because she'll coddle him. She'll be like, "Oh, I love you so much, you my baby," and all this kind of stuff. But she won't necessarily be hard on him for his own success and his own good. The only time you'll see a Black mother push her son is if he's going to be a football player or basketball player, because she feels like that benefits her in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's not going to be the case, then, if he makes it, he makes it. And she's not going to just be mad that he made it, but she's not going to do it like she's going to do her girl. And the reason why she's going to do her girl that way is because of that, again, that low expectation. Men are going to fail you in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to do it yourself. And I'm going to prepare you as much as I can for you to be able to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good summary. You got it.
Yeah. I've heard it so many. I heard it from my own mother to my sisters. Same thing. My aunts to my cousins, same thing. Exact same thing.
I've actually know someone that 40-year-old son still laying up on the couch. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to let him go.
I want to let him go.
Yeah, me too. No
And,
bueno
Right.
there.
and then it becomes a parental guilt because you didn't prepare this kid, and it's your fault that he's not able to get out on his own. And I have to take care of him for the rest of my life because it's almost like he's like an autistic kid or a kid that's disabled and can't take care of himself,
Mm.
Yeah, it's a mess.
which is what's like a lot of your academics kind of bury this because Monahan tried to point out the Tango pathology a long time ago about this how can I put it? I wouldn't call it backwards, but different way of doing things. Is the cultural damage that was done to black folks, and black women did not want that heard. They still don't want it heard. They don't want to let it out. In fact, I talked to Dr. Johnson. He said black women will protect that secret uh, to take it to their grave. They do not want this stuff out, even though there's stats galore about it. But black women do not want. There's a certain amount of shame to it that goes with it, and black women at the top don't want it out. They rather it to go on and perpetuate itself rather than it get fixed because it actually exposed the black community and make the black woman look bad.
Well, it is
Black,
what it
black,
is.
black women would rather look good and fail rather than succeed and look bad. Is what it is. And this is at the very top. This is not at the bottom. This is at the very top because I've heard it. You know, I've heard more than Dr. Johnson said. I've heard it from other people, like Dr. Curry. The reason he's leaving is because there, you know, he stepped out and started telling the truth and exposing it, and it's mostly black women that attack him. It's mostly black women actually attack him. Both black female scholars. They don't want the truth out. Is what it is. And black women are going. Sooner or later, they have to come to terms with it if the community is going to survive.
And Kara, I'll ask that you send me an email as a reminder, and I'll see if we can get some women on with brothers, and they can speak on what they lived in, in their household. I'll try
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I want to know what can I say to get black women to actually come forth and actually attempt to change. Whether if you have a black, especially if you have a black boy, can you give him to the father? Because I know you don't want to let him go, but can you give it? Can you give him up? Like look at the movie Boys in the Hood, right? When she had to
Hmm.
give up her son, first he said,
Hmm.
"Take care of my baby."
Yeah.
You wanted him, take care of my baby, because she didn't
Yeah.
want to give him up, even though they had an agreement. She still didn't want to give him up.
Yeah, I'm not for sure if we can get women to actually do that, but we can try.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, I know it's a downer. Let's talk about something else. I know it's a downer.
Well, it's actually the end of the show,
Okay.
and again, Kara, remind me, and we'll and then anyone that have some ideas for topics,
Hmm.
I'll try this again this year. Email me with them. I'll
Yeah.
just ask you. I mean, if you don't do it, you just don't.
Support the channel if you can as we're closing. So we have conversations like this because a lot of times you can't have honest conversations. Like I didn't attack Kara, but I actually asked her questions. You know,
Yeah,
what she's in her life. What does she think? You know,
and
what
she's a
term is
good
better?
sport.
And she,
Yeah, we always have good conversations here. So yeah, definitely.
hmm
Hmm.
and Rice is my nigga. All right.
Right.
In fact,
So,
Nicole was saying the exact same thing that Rice was saying just last week about her brothers.
Yeah.
Yes, exact same thing. It's far too common, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it with my own grandsons,
Mhm.
where I'm pushing him, and they're trying to coddle him.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, when he
Yeah.
does well, everybody wants to take, want to take credit.
Yeah.
Of course,
When
end
he
result.
and when he's blowing snot bubbles, yeah, well, yeah, don't make him do it. It's too hard for him.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because I remember one of my brothers wanted to go to the military, and my mom was like, "No," talking to my dad, like, "No, I don't want him to go. No, I don't want him to go. Don't make him. It's gonna be too hard on him. He got asthma."
I swear my mom did that. My mom did that with my little brother. She was like, he can't survive on his own. I was like, he's 28.
Oh, wonderful. You guys got stories. All right. So we're
Yeah.
gonna have a good
Oh,
conversation.
yeah, they got stories.
Oh yeah.
Here's
Let's
my
work out.
question.
Kara says I'm too hard on the women. That's all she's saying.
Right.
Here's my question, which may be fit for next Friday, because I know we're gonna get out of here shortly.
Yeah.
But my question is this, and somebody write it down so we don't forget. Why is it that when single mothers' children succeed, they take credit and be like, I did it all on my own. I was by myself. I struggled. I did this. I did that. And my children succeeded. But when those children fail, she don't take credit for that failure.
No, his daddy fault. He wasn't there.
Daddy fault.
Right.
That's the question I want. I want single mothers that do that to answer that question. Why is the success on you and what you've done and attributed to you, but the failure is not under the exact same situation?
That single mother stuff is, oh man, that's a headache. That's a headache.
Email me. Email me.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
thank you, God. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and close out. Yeah. Support the channel. These discussions are actually very important. They can't be had anyplace else. I mean, really, they can't be had anyplace else. That's how Charles said. I needed to create this channel to have these kind of discussions where women actually chime in and be honest about it.
Right.
And basically, this channel is probably the only place it really can happen.
Yeah.
That I've heard.
This is
Somebody
true.
has another channel, please let me know about it. But this is probably the only place, because I force you guys to be honest. I don't care what you say, just be honest about it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's Char go.
So thank you. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all on the panel. Thank you all in the chat room. And those that supported the channel today, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And next week, hopefully we'll get some participation for the topics that I'll get in the email.
I might have to slice this one out, Care, to go along with my
No, because last time all your little troll commenters were all there.
All right.
Mercy.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine. No, this is a great conversation.
Yeah, but a lot of guys are actually in their feelings behind that one last time. They really were.
Oh yeah, they were
in their
yeah.
feelings. We have standards. No, you don't. All of us is the guys you know. Come on, man. Don't bullshit.
Mercy.
Don't bullshit. Come on, man. I didn't see you creep. 12 to 5. Come on. Kevin said the exact same thing. A lot of these guys come from the suburbs. They sleep with the hood chicks. Come on, I've been seeing that for years. But we don't sleep with them. Come on, man. We don't sleep with single mothers. Come on, man. Really? Really? You gonna play me like that? Come on. Anyway. All right,
on
you
that
guys.
note,
Yeah,
thank you, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Again.
See you guys next week or in the Coliseum.
Yes.
Either way.
Have a great weekend.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Peace. Thanks, Kendra.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.